We are just 5 days away from WWE's Clash at the Castle pay-per-view from Cardiff, Wales. So most of the segments on tonight's show were designed to hype the upcoming event. WWE Hall of Famer Kurt Angle made a special appearance tonight, and the Usos took a trip with Sami Zayn to Raw to represent the Bloodline. Matt Riddle and Seth Rollins had a confrontation. Bobby Lashley took on The Miz. And the women's tag titles found a new home when Io Sky and Dakota Kai battled Raquel Rodriguez and Aaliyah in the finals of the ongoing tournament to crown new champions. Let's take a look at what happened on tonight's edition of Raw, for this is Ridiculously Raw. Hello friends, and welcome to Ridiculously Raw, the most must-see show on YouTube and StreamYard.com today. I am your host, Anthony Florio, joined by good old MF Michael Fletcher, and of course, the Phenom, Michael Bullock. Bullock and I, of course, coming off another one of our legendary Raw chats as always, and what a night. As tonight we kick off a very exciting week of content here on our family of networks. It starts tonight. We'll get into that at the end of the show in the future content. You're not going to want to miss that. But a huge week. And we started off with Monday Night Raw from the PPG Paints Arena in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, the home of the Pittsburgh Penguins of the NHL. And we started it off, with a match. A tag team match. The phenomenal AJ Styles and Dolph Ziggler squaring off against Finn Balor and Damian Priest of the Judgment Day. Winners of the match in 8.5 minutes. It was the Judgment Day. This match was decent, but with 5 more minutes, it could have been the best thing on the show. Edge was shown arriving backstage, so Judgment Day chose to remain in the ring. All 3 members of Judgment Day cut a promo after the match before Edge came out and issued a response. The Mysterios attacked from behind with kendo sticks, but Dominic hesitated to hit Rhea Ripley. And she took the stick from him, and the segment ended with Judgment Day yelling at Edge and the Mysterios from the crowd. And at Clash at the Castle, it will be Edge and Rey Mysterio with Dominic in their corner, squaring off against Finn Balor and Damian Priest with Rhea Ripley in their corner. 2.5 to 2 3/4 of a star for the match. Ziggler is so much more exciting when he works as a babyface. His heel stuff is great, but he slows himself down. He's one of those guys who works best when he's going 100 miles an hour. Ziggler countering a powerbomb into a textbook famouser was a great spot. The chokeslam Priest hit on Ziggler looked incredible. The show-off jumped as high as he could for it, and he sold the impact perfectly. And Edge was right. His wife, Beth Phoenix, is a badass. We all know that. So, I believe in this tag team match on Saturday, I think we can all fully expect Dominic Mysterio to finally turn. I think this is where we're going to finally get the heel turn for Dominic Mysterio. And I think the Judgment Day are going to win that match. We'll get more into that on Friday night. But for right now, 2.5, 2 3/4 of a star for the match. So MF, solid match to open it up. It's not often we start with a match, but we got one here. Judgment Day knocking off Styles and Ziggler, 8.5 minutes. And then from there, Edge and Mysterio against Judgment Day, Balor and Priest at Clash at the Castle. And you got to fully believe this is where Dominic's finally going to turn.
You would think so, and the thing is that yes, it does open the door for him not only to turn heel, but to possibly finally join the Judgment Day himself. Obviously, he has that man of valor, that man of honor, never to go after a woman or assault a woman or anything like that, which is, props to not only Dominic for doing that, but props to Papa Ray for teaching his son the right thing to do in that instance. Even though, to coin a word from the late great American Dream Dusty Rhodes, Rhea Ripley is a devilish woman. That's not to be messed with. So it's going to be very interesting to see how that plays out. Obviously, Dominic could open the door and say, well, I haven't fully forgiven Edge for his actions. And he kind of feels like Edge, when he hit him with that spear, that it was deliberate. So it does give Dominic an out and an avenue if they want to push him a heel, that they do have the opening to do so. And this would probably be the best way to do it. So, yes, for what it's worth, 2.5 stars. it could have been better. It could have gone higher to a 3, but it didn't get enough time. Fine, no problems. But it does pique my interest enough to see what they're going to do on Saturday afternoon. So, Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I'll give it 2.5 stars. I mean, the match definitely could have been better, but in the amount of time it did get, I thought it was fine for what it was. I mean, and then basically, yeah, that promo where Anja confronts the Judgment Day, and then you get the Mysterios attacking the Judgment Day, and then basically, you could see Dominic was just so hesitant. I mean, he really wanted to nail Rhea Ripley with a kendo stick because, Dominic's been attacked by Rhea so many times, but Ray's Dominic pretty good to never strike a woman, but like you said, Fletch, as the old saying from Dusty Rhodes, that ain't no ordinary woman. That's a devilish woman there. And nobody is more devilish than Rhea Ripley. So I think this is where Dominic's going to turn heel, and I think he's going to join the Judgment Day and make it even more of a pretty damn good stable, as if they already are. So I know some people are probably disappointed that they were probably expecting Edge, Ray, and Beth Phoenix against all the members of the Judgment Day, including Rhea Ripley, but I still think this is going to be, it's still going to deliver. I still believe it will. So there's really nothing more to say on it. So it's yours, Florio.
Six-woman tag team matchup. Raw Women's Champion Bianca Belair alongside of Asuka and Alexa Bliss. They squared off against 3 enhancement jobber women. And needless to say, Bianca, Asuka, and Alexa won the match 3 minutes and 25 seconds. Delicious squash. I mean, that's really all it was. Showcase for the women. And Danny Moe, one of the jobbers, looked good in this match. She's somebody that WWE might want to keep an eye on in the future. Then we had another 2-for-1 segment. Hall of Famer Kurt Angle comes out. And then from there, interrupted by the Alpha Academy. You knew this was coming. And then, the interaction with Kurt Angle and Chad Gable. Wow. That was fun. But there was more that came out of this. Street Profits come out. And then Alpha Academy and the Street Profits, they ended up having a tag team match with a stipulation. If the Alpha Academy won the match, Kurt Angle would have to join the Alpha Academy and do everything that Master Gable tells him to do. Winners of the match, in an even 16 minutes, the Street Profits pick up the win. MF, wow. I mean, the interaction with Kurt Angle and Chad Gable was awesome as we expected, but Street Profits and Alpha Academy, even 16 minutes, what a match.
They lit up the building in Pittsburgh. Boy, you want to talk about a special match. That was a special one. And of all people, Alpha Academy and Street Profits, well, we know Street Profits could definitely deliver. But Alpha Academy, where did you guys come from? That was probably your best performance on Monday Night Raw. I mean, that was a streamlined sleeper fight of the night. I got to call it. This was a sleeper fight of the night. 3.5 stars. I could not believe what I was witnessing with that match. I was absolutely flabbergasted. I was like, damn. You know, we see how Chad Gable is in the ring, and we know how good he is. And Otis looked really good as well. So without a doubt, whenever it looks like if you put Alpha Academy against a really good tag team and give them the necessary time, you start to realize, oh my God, that they're actually really good. They're not a comedy act. They're not an enhancement talent. That you could make them legitimate, credible tag team that you could see down the line with their gimmick, maybe a future tag team champions. I think this was a litmus test to see how Alpha Academy does with, for me right now, one of the best tag teams in WWE. And even though it was in the losing effort, Alpha Academy actually comes out even stronger than they were coming into tonight. First, the exchange with Kurt Angle and Master Gable was absolutely amazing. Yes, there was a little bit of some funny ha-ha moments, but the thing is, I bought into it. I bought into it, hook, line, and sinker. I was like, damn, this is really good. And it was enjoyable. Yes, the fans love Kurt Angle. This is his home turf. You knew Angle was going to get a hero's welcome, and sure as hell got it. And he wore the gear. He had his gear on. So it was truly an awesome moment to see. Angle looks great. I know there's been a lot. He's been going through a lot, especially the last few years. There's been a lot of ups and downs Kurt Angle has been going through. But I'm so glad that, you know, he's able to continue on. He's looking great. I wish him nothing but the best, man. I mean, he's one of those guys that has, you know, the respect, the love from the WWE universe, and for what he's done for professional wrestling as a whole. Kurt Angle is without a doubt one of the best in the game, man. From winning gold in 1996 in Atlanta at the Summer Olympic Games, the Centennial Olympic Games, to win it, and then to get this. Yeah, I mean, there's really nothing more to add here. So this was awesome. This was really, really, really awesome. So 3.5 stars, Mike Bullock. Man, what a tag team fight we saw here tonight.
And how much fun, Bullock, did you and I have with Kurt Angle and Chad Gable's shoe off?
Oh yeah, this was an absolute shoe off. I mean, but I'll tell you, I think Kurt Angle made it more entertaining than Chad Gable's shoosh. I mean, the last time we saw Kurt Angle do something like this, there was one, I think it was back in 2005 when Kurt Angle got drafted to Monday Night Raw, and I think it was weeks later, him and Ric Flair got into a woo-off.
And of course, Daniel Bryan had a yes off.
Oh yeah, we can't forget about that one. But and then you followed up with this match. I mean, we know the Street Profits are capable of putting on a good match, but I don't think any of us saw it coming from the Alpha Academy. So this is definitely a major prop to them. So yeah, I mean, I enjoyed this match. So yeah, 3.5 stars for me as well. So there's really nothing more to say. So it's yours, Florio.
I got to give this about 3 3/4 to 4 stars for me. I mean, both teams had some moments to shine, but the Street Profits had the more exciting spots. Montez Ford usually has more of them, but Angelo Dawkins has upped his game so much that he was just as much fun to watch. Enjoyable match between 4 great athletes who all have completely different skill sets. They meshed well together. The highlight of the match, what about when Angelo Dawkins pounced Otis over the announce table, and he ended up damn near taking out Byron Saxton. Oh my goodness, wow! Because of that impact. Oh, that was a be a man moment right there.
Do you know how many people would love to see Byron Saxton just eat that? Like,
He got the brunt of it.
yeah, good. He deserves it. That little.
Excuse me?
That's
You
Bullet's
heard me,
boy,
Bullet.
MF.
That jerkwad deserved what he got.
He is the Corey Graves of this group after all.
Oh, bull crap. The one who really deserved it more is Corey Graves. Now, if Corey Graves if it happened to him, then I would have been literally laughing my ass off.
Like you were during the shoe-off with Angle and Gable. But anyways, all kidding aside, what a match this was. Like I said, you could easily make an argument for Fight of the Night on this. That's how great this was. And that's why I'm giving this between 3 3/4 and 4. Montez Ford hit a picture-perfect drop kick to the chest of Gable at one point. Angelo Dawkins hit the dot, hit the tope con hilo he has been using lately, but he landed on his back this time instead of his feet. And the dragon screw leg whip Chad Gable hit while Dawkins was straddling a ring rope, legitimately painful. But the moment of the match, like I said, was the pounce by Angelo Dawkins on Otis. Oh my goodness, that sent him flying over the announce table. So, wow. All right, nothing much more to say on this. We move on to the next match, and there was now we were supposed to have Seth Rollins and the newly renamed Matt Riddle. They were supposed to have a face-to-face, but because of how out of control their incidents have been lately, they were confined to separate rooms, and Corey Graves served as the moderator for a sit-down interview.
I think you need to mention for it because earlier in
the day, yes,
they actually had a confrontation.
Yeah, they
in the parking
brawled in the
lot.
parking lot. They had a parking lot brawl, in a sense.
And it's because of that. That's why instead of face to face, they had to put them in separate rooms.
Yeah, and they were put in separate rooms, and Corey Graves was on the backstage ring set and interviewed Rollins and Riddle. They traded jabs, but it was what happened near the tail end of this that's going to have people talking, because it's the classic case of they went there. First, Riddle said to Seth Rollins, "I'm going to prove to you that there's only one man in your marriage, and that's Becky, bro." Whew. And then, when the camera stopped rolling, Rollins took it even more personal with Riddle, saying, "Let's talk about your family. Oh, wait, you don't have one because your wife divorced your ass and took your kids with you because they didn't want to deal with your bleep ass." And then Riddle was so PO'd about it, he dropped not one, not two, but 3 F-bombs. He dropped 3 F-bombs.
Now that is what I call a triple ouch.
Oh, dude.
Oh, guys, open forum this. Let's go.
Dude.
That fun-loving Riddle that people were always loved. Oh, he saw a different Riddle.
There's certain things in life you just don't do. And there's certain lines you don't cross. One thing, you never, ever, ever bring up family.
No.
Never, ever. It doesn't matter if it's a girlfriend, a wife, kids. You just don't do it. Do not bring that do not pull that card out, because lo and behold, the next thing you know is what we saw with Matt Riddle here tonight. He went boom. And Rollins, you better hope and pray he's cooled off by Saturday in Cardiff, or else it's going to be a long night. for Seth freaking Rollins because unless he's trying to get in Riddle's head, that might have been the worst thing you could have done.
Yeah. There are other ways he could have done it, but go about it the way Rollins did, and as the late Gorilla Monsoon would say, don't start something that you can't finish. And Seth Rollins may have started something that he might not be able to finish. And he may have woken up a side of Matt Riddle that we have never seen, and one that he should have left alone.
I wonder if Matt Riddle is going to tap into his Viper side. Because you know how much he loves Randy Orton and how much he's been praising Randy and everything else. I wonder if this Matt Riddle, what Seth Rollins might have just triggered, are we about to see Matt Riddle's version of Randy Orton, that sadistic, in-your-face, devastating type of a guy, knowing Orton. So we'll see.
Yeah, and like I said, that's something Seth Rollins should have left alone. Because you made your bed, now you're going to have to lie in it. And I don't know if Matt will be able to cool down from this. Because I'm sure when he sees Seth Rollins, when he goes to the ring Saturday, he's going to be reminded of what the comments that Rollins said. I mean, it's one thing to go after Matt Riddle himself, but you go after his family the way you did. No. You should have kept your mouth shut when you had the opportunity. I mean, and I'll say this right now, Florio. I mean, we're all going to talk about that undisputed Universal title match, but I think in the end, people are going to talk about Matt Riddle and Seth Rollins because after what we've heard from these two and how personal it's gotten, I think this is going to be the match that steals the damn show. And I'm going to go on the record as saying this. It's going to be a 5-star classic.
Very possible. Very possible. But the body of work of these two, I am certainly not going to rule that out. That is indeed a very realistic possibility.
What you and I always do with our bold predictions? That's my bold prediction. This is going to be a 5-star classic. You can put me on it.
It depends on the body of work. It also depends on the time, and we're just gonna have to wait and see. So I certainly wouldn't rule that out. So it's a very realistic possibility, Bullock. So based on the body of work of these two guys, so we'll see. We'll find out what happens. But boy, howdy, that was something. And Riddle dropping F-bombs, that's not PG. Oh no, it's not PG at all. So I inserted the joke. So, wow, that was something. All right, got to reel it in here. Let's move on to our next matchup here. That was technically an open forum, so I believe that that Michael Bullock will be starting off on our next match here. United States Heavyweight Champion Bobby Lashley, the almighty Bobby Lashley, squaring off against The Miz. This was a non-title match. Bobby Lashley wins the match in 10 minutes and 50 seconds. And Bullock, Miz tried to cheat his way to victory. He almost did until he saw his worst nightmare. The man who kidnapped him last week. And the man who might have done it again tonight, because as Miz was leaving the arena tonight in his rental SUV, who was in the back seat? Dexter Lumis.
Uh-oh. Yeah, all right, for this match here, I'll give it 2.5 to 3. I mean, it definitely could have been better, but I thought it was a good match for what it was in the short amount of time. But yeah, I mean, the Dexter Loomis distraction really cost the Miz a chance to pull off an upset. So and yeah, this whole thing between the Miz and Dexter Loomis is definitely far from over. So we'll see what happens with this. So it's yours, Florio.
I'll give this about three, teetering on 3.25. Um, it was a relatively tame performance, but the story unfolding in the background is most definitely interesting. Miz was doing some surprisingly good acting on this show, and Ciampa using his body to block the ring post so Lashley couldn't use it against the Miz was a great moment. But other than that, it was a fine match. It was a solid match for what it was. Teetering on 3.25 for it. But MF, there's no doubt about it. Dexter Loomis, he ain't done with the Miz yet. He distracted him, cost the Miz this match, and then as the Miz was leaving near the end of the show in his rental SUV, Loomis was in the back waiting for him.
Dude, what is up with you, Dex? What is your play, cuz? What do you got with the Miz? That's the one thing I'm a little creeped out about is what is prompting him to do these things? And what is he thinking? I think that's the best thing that we're gonna have to figure out, and that's the one thing I think we're all kind of on edge about is what is his play? What's the angle here? What is he gonna do? If I'm a little worried that something bad's about to happen, but I love it. I love Dexter Loomis. I love what he's bringing to the table. He is enough of an Uncle Creepy that makes us like, ugh. But I don't know. This is weird. This is crazy. But whatever the case may be, it's going to be very interesting to watch. That's all I'm going to say about that. But I mean, is this, I kind of have a feeling it's going to come to a point where Dex is going to go a little too far. It probably might bring Maurice out because obviously doing this to her husband, creeping him out, and the whole 9 yards, Maurice is going to get involved. Could this be the way to get Indy Hartwell out there? Could this be possibly the way that where we could get Indy in this Index versus the Miz and Mrs. in a tag team fight down the line? Because that's what I'm thinking right now is that there has to be some kind of way to get this because obviously we had the payoff at we had somewhat of a payoff last week on NXT when we had the Index reuniting. But you remember, there was that part there where at the end, he gave her the note saying just goodbye for now, I love you forever. So obviously they're not going to end this. There's no way. But is there a possibility where, because Miz has been getting hounded by Dexter, no doubt. At some point, Maurice has to come out and say enough is enough. But in turn, that might also bring out Indy Hartwell. Because don't you dare mess with Dexter. You mess with Dex, you're going to get hurt. And the next thing you know, all hell's breaking loose. So, I don't know. I do not know how this is going to play out. I don't know. So, we'll see. This is going to be interesting. I like this. I like where this is going. Solid match. About 2.5, 2 3/4. Anthony, back to you.
Theme of the night. It's been in 2-for-1 segments, and we had yet another one. Here you go, MF. Some SmackDown business here for you. The Bloodline, the Usos, and Sami Zayn. They cut a promo, and they get interrupted by Kevin Owens. And it leads to a match. Kevin Owens versus Jey Uso. And Kevin Owens wins the match in 12 minutes and 25 seconds. I could call maybe second best fight of the night here. I could give this about 3.5 stars for the effort. I mean, a solid segment here, to say the very least. And then as far as the match is concerned, it was, I'll say it like this. The second half of the match was much more hard-hitting and competitive. We saw both men hit some big moves that took a lot out of both men. And this ended up being not only a fantastic match, but the storytelling here was excellent. Everyone did a great job here. Jey Uso might have the best "I hate you" expression in professional wrestling. Kevin Owens is right. Love him or hate him, Sami Zayn is an incredible performer, and hopefully he gets a chance to keep proving that soon. And Kevin Owens hitting a swanton bomb a la Jeff Hardy will never, ever get old. He does it just as good as he does. And this was easily 3.5 stars. You can make an argument for 3 3/4, because this is definitely the second best fight of the night. I thought that Street Profits Alpha Academy matchup was a smidgen better, but this was just as good. Easily 3.5 to 3 3/4, second best fight of the night on my end. And not much more to say here. MF, I mean, Kevin Owens, trying to talk some sense into Sami Zayn, this ongoing thing with the bloodline. But I believe in my heart of hearts, soon enough, I think the bloodline will eventually turn on Sami, and who knows? I think we might finally have a possible team that could finally dethrone the Usos. I think it could be KO and Sami.
Yeah, I mean, they went there once before. I mean, they kind of, and I think it would be interesting to see it being KO and Sami if they do that. If they go down that road, I think that'd be very interesting to watch. At the end of the day, I thought it was a solid match. I think this was like a 3.5, no doubts. Second best fight of the night. I can't argue with that either. So I really got nothing more to add. So yeah, Anthony, I give it to you. I mean, Bullock, I'll give it to you.
Yeah, 3.5 stars. I mean, I could definitely see something like that happen. Now, will they go with it? Only time will tell. It's basic. That promo basically hit it when Owen's like, "Hey, you and we had something. I'm still your best friend. Do you really think the Usos care about you? Do you really think the Bloodline cares about you?" But of course, Sami, being Mr. Lame Duckman, had to say, "The Bloodline cares about me. As far as I'm concerned, our friendship is done. There's still that hatred between you and me." But of course, we all saw what happened after SmackDown went off the air when it was in Montreal that moment. So there's still a little bit of that friendship there. So could they actually pull it off and have Owens and Zayn be the ones to dethrone the Usos? We'll see. It's yours, Florio.
All right, gentlemen, here we go. The main event of the evening, the finals of the Women's Tag Team Championship Tournament. Dakota Kai and Io Sky with Bayley in their corner, squaring off against Raquel Rodriguez and Aaliyah. The winners of the match in roughly 11.5 minutes, and the new WWE Women's Tag Team Champions. MF, go ahead and celebrate. If you got it in you, brother, go ahead and celebrate. Raquel Rodriguez and Aaliyah, the Cinderella team, a la 1-2-3 Kid and Bob Holly in the 1995 Royal Rumble when they knocked off Tatanka and Bam Bam Bigelow. We saw the recreation of that 27.5 plus years later, and Raquel Rodriguez and Aaliyah win the titles in 11.5 minutes, albeit via a distraction from Bianca Belair, Alexa Bliss, and Asuka. They chased off Bayley. Raquel and Aaliyah made a blind tag. that Dakota and Io did not see. And then Aaliyah rolls up Dakota for the 1-2-3. And MF, how about it? Raquel Rodriguez and Aaliyah bringing the women's tag team titles. Score one for SmackDown.
That was the minute I was thinking, oh my God, Aaliyah, you are the hero of the night. You know, a lot of people's been badgering you, giving you a whole bunch of grief about, you know, that you were the weak link of the crew. And it was your smarts, your beautiful brain of yours that actually won you these tag team titles here tonight. Your resourcefulness of making that blind tag away from Dakota and Io, not knowing you made that tag. The referee knew, and she hopped down. So when they did their maneuvers, they're thinking, "Oh, we got it in the bag," you know, the whole 9 yards. Not knowing it was the illegal woman. She stacks up Dakota for the 1-2-3, and yeah, she held her just enough for the 3 to go down. And once the 3 hit, I absolutely lost it. I could not believe it, man. The SmackDown girls, the most unlikeliest of champions, is bringing the belts home to the blue brand where it belongs. We had those belts for the longest time. It's only fitting these belts remain in the blue brand on SmackDown. And boy, Friday night, let's go. Well, I don't know if they're going to do anything Friday. I don't think they did anything Friday. But next Friday, after, when they get back from Ireland or when they get back from Wales, there's going to be a party going, man. It's going to be wild. It's going to be crazy. I cannot believe that just happened. Oh, my God. You know what? I got to give it a 3 stars. It wasn't the perfect match. It was a good match. It was worthy. It was a solid battle. But like you said, Dakota, no, it wasn't Dakota. It was Io that got caught. She got caught in that big power bomb. She was about to get dropped. And then, Bayley grabbed, I think she either hooked the leg or hooked or grabbed Raquel, because Raquel lost her balance and fell. But because of that prompted Asuka, that prompted Alexa, and that prompted Bianca to come out, and they're like, oh, hells no. You are not doing this. We're going to have an outcome. If you're going to win these belts, you're winning this honorably. You're not losing. We're not going to have any shady business with the titles on the line. Get the hell out of here with that crap. So they chased Bayley out, and the next thing you know, you got that big moment, and Aaliyah. Oh my goodness. And Raquel, not bad for the former NXT Women's Champion of the World. Her first major main roster championship title. And for Aaliyah, this is her first title ever. She's never won a championship in WWE. And lo and behold, it's the Women's Tag Team Championships of the world. Oh my goodness. You know what? Normally I would never ever I would never start bragging or anything else like that, but the hell with it. I gotta do it. My infamous me. SmackDown wins. Anthony, I know I know how much you love Aaliyah, so I know you're very happy about that. But I gotta say it. I'll do another infamous thing. History has been made. Unprecedented crowning. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania here tonight on Monday Night Raw. What a night. What a moment. Michael Bullock, I'll give it to you, bro. It's all yours. This was about 3.25 stars. for the main event.
And Aaliyah is a champion for the first time in WWE. What a moment.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. I mean, what a moment. I mean, and also, this is the first championship on the main roster for Raquel Rodriguez. Let's not forget about that too. But what a moment, especially for Aaliyah. I mean, think of what this woman has gone through. I mean, so many people called her the weak link. I mean, so much so that Sonya Deville basically screwed her out of an opportunity to be on Team SmackDown for the Survivor Series, and we're like thinking, yeah, so much for her big time moment. Well, she did have when she got a big win over Natalia, but now she is a champion, and a moment that she'll never forget. And Florio and Fletch, remember that time we said Liv Morgan was a more deserving champion? I think we might have to literally scratch that. I think we have to put Aaliyah up at the top as the most deserving champion because of all the things that she's gone through to get to where she is. And like you said, and she used her smart. She tagged Raquel Rodriguez, and then she dove outside the ring to get Io and Dakota to believe that she's not the legal person, and when she saw the opportunity, she rolled up Dakota, got the 1, 2, 3, and now they're champions. So 3 stars. Florio, like you and I just said, we thought Liv Morgan was a more deserving champion, but we have to scratch that now because now Aaliyah is up there now.
Oh my goodness. I mean,
Your bougie queen did it.
Yeah, she did. Yes, she did. What a moment for her. Now, for the record, Aaliyah has actually won championships in other wrestling promotions, but they were more independent wrestling promotions. She's a former Ground Zero Wrestling Women's Champion, a former Great Canadian Wrestling Women's Champion, former a 2-time Impact Pro Wrestling Women's Champion. She also won the World Women's Wrestling Championship from New England Championship Wrestling. The Queens of Chaos Women's Champion, a PWA Pure Wrestling Association Women's Champion, a Southland World Wrestling Ladies Champion, and a 2-time Southland World Wrestling Women's Champion, and the final Southland Women's Champion. And now here tonight is obviously the biggest of all of those. In the worldwide leader in professional wrestling, sports entertainment, she goes and does this here tonight in a very, very unlikely outcome that none of us saw coming. And wow, 3 to 3.25 stars on this. The match was decent and probably allowed Raquel Rodriguez to look better than she has since coming to the main roster. But the outcome is going to leave a lot of fans confused and or upset. It seemed like this was going to be an easy win for Io Sky and Dakota Kai, and to put over Damage Control and give them a big push. But Dakota Kai has some of the best running kicks in the business. It always looks brutal, and a lot of fans also probably I think we all expected, especially myself and Bullock, we especially expected an appearance by Sasha Banks and Naomi, but we didn't get that. So they were left sorely disappointed with that. But other than that, a great moment for Raquel Rodriguez and Aaliyah. Raquel Rodriguez now adds this to her trophy case, which includes the NXT Women's Championship. And her and Dakota were also the inaugural NXT Women's Tag Team Champions. So this is Raquel's 3rd title, It's her first on the main roster, but it's Aaliyah's first in WWE, and I know this will be a night that beautiful young lady will never ever forget. And for her to score the winning fall on top of that is something. So, and it's well documented. I have a love affair with Aaliyah. I love Aaliyah. I think she is a very, very beautiful young woman, and yeah, I am beyond thrilled for her. I'm so happy for her, and very well deserved indeed. And I thought for sure Dakota and Io were gonna bring the belts back to Raw, but no, Aaliyah and Raquel bringing them to SmackDown, and very likely will not be anything because SmackDown was a taped show. They did a double taping this past Friday, and we're gonna get a taped show on Friday because of the travel schedule, because they're gonna be well en route to Cardiff. So maybe the SmackDown after on September 9th in Seattle. That's where that SmackDown will be. Maybe then we'll get the celebration of Raquel Rodriguez and Aaliyah as the brand new WWE Women's Tag Team Champions. So happy for Aaliyah, but I know it's a big moment for MF. And yes, I did hear a loud "Let's go" from my area, and I'm like, yep, MF is channeling his inner Pat McAfee right about now, because they did it for SmackDown, they did it for the brand, and there you go. The SmackDown Women's Tag Team titles back on Team Blue, and I know that makes MF very happy. So big moment for SmackDown. So, but this is not going to sit well with Damage Control, and they're going to be they will be taking out their aggressions and frustrations out on Bianca, Asuka, and Alexa come Saturday at Clash at the Castle, in what could be another show stealer match on a card full of them. So that's all there is to say there. 3.25 for this. Let's get into the overall review here. I believe Michael Bullock starts it off. So Bullock, another week, another good Raw. Maybe not the greatest, but I'll tell you what, it was still another very good installment of Monday Night Raw under the Triple H creative regime.
Yeah, I mean, it's another good show. Probably not as good as last week when I gave it 9.5. When I gave it 9.5. It's a little step down, but it's still a good show. I think I'll give it about maybe 7.5 to 8 for this edition, because I mean, especially with the outcome nobody thought would happen. I mean, we all thought Dakota and Io were going to go over here, but they actually pulled the trigger and gave the win to Raquel and Aaliyah. And I mean, you only had one bad match with Asuka and Bianca and Alexa against 3 Hammond-Eggers, but other than that, everything else was solid to even good on this one. So 7.5 to 8 for me. It's yours, Florio.
Yeah, definitely. Small step down, but not too much of one. It was a 7.5 to 8. Raw has been absolutely perfect since the Triple H regime took over 5 weeks ago. 5 for 5 here. Another enjoyable show. I mean, the pacing was better with a mix of match lengths and some verbal segments. None of the matches felt like they went long just for the sake of going long. A lot of highlights here. Fight of the night, definitely the Alpha Academy and the Street Profits. Of course, Kevin Owens and Jey Uso. And the ongoing fun of Sammy's story with the Bloodline, obviously. This women's tag title tournament final. I'm glad they gave it the main event. Yeah, I'll be honest, I was kind of hoping that Sasha and Naomi would have showed up, but, maybe they're saving it for a more grandiose occasion. I don't know, but we're going to have to wait and find out. But they're coming. Don't worry, they're coming. They're coming soon enough. And then some other good segments here and there, and only one bad match, and that was that 6-woman squash for Team Bianca. So, but other than that, everything else was solid to good to great, and not as great as last week, but still another enjoyable episode, to say the very least. Small step down, but it is what it is, but not too much of one. 7.5 to 8. I'm with Bullock on this one. So MF, take this part home, and then I'll hit y'all with my Tony's take.
Yeah, this was about 7 to 7.5. Definitely agreed. Some people on social media is not happy over the fact that Io and Dakota lost here tonight. Some people are even going as far to say that this was actually Triple H's first mistake on the since being the head of creative. So they're lashing out on Triple H tonight about this history making moment. But I think you got to be patient, guys. I know what Trips is doing here. You got to give him a little bit of a break here. Not everything's going to be perfect. I think I know why they're doing it. I think they're trying to give Aaliyah and Raquel the moment because they probably deserve it. I know a lot of people is like, well, and the thing is, remember, Io, Dakota, and Damage Control has to worry about their 6-woman tag. You don't want to throw all the bullets right out at them right away. Make it slow burn. Let them chase for a little bit. Obviously, Io and Dakota will get the belts eventually, and then you're gonna see the Boston Glow connection show up, and then you're gonna get the ultimate payoff of that fight. So be patient, guys. I know there's some people out there that's a little angry right now at the outcome, but look, all in all, it was still a good night. It was still a good show. There's really nothing bad to say there, so I got nothing more to say. And yeah, Anthony, I'll give it to you so that you can hit the Tony's take.
Yes, sir. Tony's take is here and now, and all right. So just wanted to get everything ready, and here we go. Started off as always with Impact Wrestling, and how about this? We actually started off this show last Thursday night. It's not often we get a match like this to start it, but we got it anyway. A championship match to start the show. The Knockouts Tag Team Championship on the line. The champions, VXT or Vexed. That's the Virtuosa Deonna Purrazzo and Chelsea Green. Their first title defense. Defending against the Knockouts champion, Jordan Grace and Mia Yim. And the winners of the match. And still, the Knockouts Tag Team Champions. It is Vexed. 3.5 stars. This was a really sound match. Outside of an awkward top rope crossbody from Deonna, this was good bell to bell. The dive before the finish looked a little odd. Could have used another angle, or maybe I didn't see it well enough in action. Either way, it was still a neat way to set up the finishing moments of a solid opening match. 3.5 stars. Then we had a one-on-one match. One half of the tag team champions, the Good Brothers. It's Carl Anderson, the Machine Gun. He's also the never openweight champion as well in New Japan. And he squared off against Honor No More's Mike Bennett. Stipulation in this match. If Carl Anderson won this match, then Maria Kanellis would be barred from ringside when the Good Brothers defend the tag team championships against Honor No More's Mike Bennett and Matt Taven, the Kingdom. MF knows all about those guys. Winner of the match, Carl Anderson. Maria is banned from ringside for this tag title match. 3 stars, another solid match that was pretty entertaining. I'm surprised Carl won, but it was a decent back and forth with some distraction to explain it a tad. So then we had Bhupinder Gujar squaring off against Jason Hotch. Gujar wins the match, 2.5 stars. Not a bad match, but it was a step down from the rest of the action we saw earlier. Not really a bad thing. If these guys are the future of Impact, then I'm at least intrigued to see where that's going. A lot of backstage stuff. And then we had the Impact World Heavyweight Champion, Josh Alexander, squaring off against Honor No More's Vincent. Josh Alexander wins the match, 2 3/4 of a star. Another relatively tame match compared to the first 2 of the night. Josh was hardly in peril despite taking a good bit of offense from Vincent, which makes sense all around. So I enjoyed the match well, despite not being a technical clinic. And then Eddie Edwards comes out and tries to persuade him to join Honor No More. Let's not forget, Bound for Glory, the main event. is Josh Alexander defending the World Heavyweight Championship against Eddie Edwards. And what will be a banger of a match, I'll tell you that right now. And speaking of Eddie Edwards, his wife was in the next match, Alicia Edwards. She went up against Jessica. Jessica won the match. 2.5 stars. It was short and more or less a squash, but it was a good bit of fun. I mean, Jessica's way over and the live crowd loves it. I was almost thinking Rosemary might turn on her, but fortunately that was not the case, as she instead helped her friend have the confidence to get the win here. And then in the main event, 6-man tag team action. All 3 members of Violent by Design, Eric Young, Dina, and Joe Doring, they went up against the Motor City Machine Guns and Kushida, as they dubbed themselves Time Machine. Again, MF knows about it. Alex Shelley and Kushida, they were known as the Time Stoppers there. And they included Sabin. Winners of the match, it was the Time Machine. Time Machine wins the match. Another 3.5 stars. Really good 6-man tag between 2 really good teams. I enjoyed it, and I'm curious to see where both sides go next. I mean, we know where Motor City Machine Guns are headed. This Sunday, AEW All Out, they'll be teaming with Jay Lethal to take on FTR and Wardlow. But I'm curious about their next move in Impact Wrestling. But it was a solid main event and a very good way to close out the show. 7 3/4, teetering on 8 out of 10 for this. We're on the road to Bound for Glory with a few pit stops on the way, so it makes sense that things are starting to get interesting as the build begins. Last Thursday's show had nothing but solid wrestling action and entertaining segments. Not exactly a home run of a show, as the matches weren't out of this world, but everything was very good, as has become consistent within Impact Wrestling. Thursday night on Impact Wrestling over on Access TV at 8 p.m. or at 8:30 p.m. for those of you who have the Impact Insider membership on YouTube. And, of course, it also comes on Impact Plus later in the night, around 10 o'clock or so. Commercial free, obviously. This is where we're going to get the big tag team championship matchup. The Good Brothers, Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows, will defend the tag team titles against Honor No More's Mike Bennett and Matt Taven, formerly of the Kingdom. Like I said, MF knows those guys very well from their Ring of Honor days. Number 1 contenders match for the Knockouts Championship. The Virtuosa, Deonna Purrazzo. The toughest test to date from Masha Slamovich. Masha Slamovich will face Deonna Purrazzo, and the winner of that match will challenge Jordynne Grace for the Knockouts Championship at Bound for Glory. And then from there, we're also going to get, and I know MF, you're going to have a very, you're going to have a vested interest in this, because this revolves around someone you care for and love very much. Mickie James. Mickie James addresses her wrestling future. So we'll find out what Mickie James has to say come Thursday night. So that all goes down Thursday night. Impact Wrestling, 8 p.m. Access TV, 8:30 p.m. on YouTube. Impact Wrestling Insider membership, folks. Commercial free, and then I believe it gets uploaded to Impact Plus around 10 o'clock or so. So there you have it. All right, so NXT Level Up, and then we'll call it a night here. Started it off with Malik Blade and Idris Anafi squaring off against Bronco Nima and Lucien Price. Blade and Anafi in 5 minutes and 50 seconds win the match. Basic tag match using the time-tested tag formula. 2 stars. That's all I can give on that. Amari Miller squaring off against Kiana James. Kiana James in about 5 minutes. Crowd wasn't into this one, and it was blech. Finish was solid, though. 1 star. Worst fight of the night. Main event, Ike Manjiro squaring off against Nathan Frazier. And Ike Manjiro... Actually, no, I stand corrected. Nathan Frazier wins the match. 6.5 minutes, fight of the night. One of the better matches that we've had on Level Up in some time. The super kick spot got a little wonky as mentioned, but still looked good. More of this, please. 3 stars. 6.5 out of 10. The main event was enough to make it a solid show. The rest is what you kind of expect from this show, which is fine. But the main event definitely saved it. 6.5, no doubt about it. So all right. So with that, that will put the bow on this edition of Ridiculously Raw. We want to thank you all so very much for tuning in. This very exciting week continues over on MF's channel, Braceway 95 Wednesday night. What time, MF? I want to make sure we note the correct start times here. Wednesday, what is it? 10 p.m., 10:30? What do we got? Just want to make sure we have the correct start time. All right. I assume it'll probably be the 10 p.m. time for Wednesday Night Madness, as it will be, and our reviews of NXT 2.0 and AEW Dynamite, and we are going to have our first pay-per-view preview. We're going to have 3 events we're going to be previewing, and we're going to start it off with NXT Worlds Collide. We're going to preview that show. That'll be on Wednesday. Thursday, the season premiere of TXN Sports World College Football Thursday, as we will preview all of the games in Week 1 that feature top 25 teams, including, now we have 3 headline games: Notre Dame, Ohio State, Oregon, Georgia, and a sleeper matchup with Cincinnati and Arkansas. So we're going to get into all that on Thursday night. Friday night, 11 p.m. following Rampage. MF will have that. Cerebral Smack Talk. Friday night SmackDown, the go-home show, along with AEW Rampage. And then we're going to preview WWE Clash at the Castle. And then Saturday night, 10:30, MF will have it, Brace Fan 95, a special edition of Talking Wrestling TXN, as we will recap the Clash at the Castle pay-per-view and preview AEW All Out. If that's not a loaded week, my friends, tell me what is, because it's setting up for what will be the most exciting Labor Day weekend of all time. And if you're a wrestling and sports fan, what a time to be alive. That's all I'm going to say right here and now. So that's it. So until night, for Wednesday Night Madness, Anthony Florio here, for Good Old MF Michael Fletcher, and in spirit, the Phenom Michael Bullock, and of course the First Lady Dee Dee Woodson. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah, throw it up Fortune Forest style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed couple of days, and until Wednesday night, for Wednesday Night Madness over on MF's channel, you've been watching Ridiculously Raw right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube and StreamYard.com. And remember, my friends, no matter what anyone tells you, beyond anything else, wrestling is indeed actually real. For everybody who's been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Florio, so long, and bye, everybody, bye.